Hello guys. Let's go ahead and do some 3.8 questions with chain rule. Point 8 chain rule. And we're going to focus on the questions that are a little bit more complicated, okay? And so these could product, quotient. This is one category. Right? These are like our little circles here. Then in our new category, okay, we have power and chain rule. Now these two things are very closely related, but let's not forget we have this starting point of can you simplify or can you rewrite it? Now we have two ways to rewrite it. We have power format or we have U sub. Okay. These two over here, this is the pre-derivative. Okay. And so let's start looking at examples where these topics are mixed. Okay. Y equals. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to look over here in the pre category. Can I simplify it? I don't want to cube this, so no. Rewrite it. Can I rewrite it in power format? Well, as I'm looking at this, I see just polynomial type powers. And so that leaves me with the U sub. And so I'm going to highlight and I'm going to split it up into two parts. U cubed and U equals x plus 2 over 2x. Okay, notice that because of the U substitution, that's going to give me the chain rule. Okay. Y prime equals 3U squared. Well, okay, U prime, guess what, guys? These two things over here, they're just separate things, okay? Now, this is a quotient, so I need to set this up. Top, derivative top. Bottom, derivative bottom. All right. U prime equals the bottom times the derivative of the top minus the top times the derivative of the bottom all over the bottom squared. Okay. Now I suggest that you do a little bit of simplification here before we put them together. 2x minus 2x minus 4. Okay, so it looks like we end up with just minus 4 on the top and 2x squared on the bottom. All right, so my U prime is this. Now I'm going to just match up this part. So what does my chain rule say? If I do this U sub, the chain rule, multiply them together. All right, so Y prime equals. All right, let's see it. And I'm going to point up here as I do this. It's going to be drop the power, subtract 1. Copy, derivative of the thing I copied. Ooh, okay, see this? Drop the power, subtract 1. Copy, derivative of the thing I copied. Now, I am going to simplify. See this square here? I'm going to just take all of the numerator pieces. See, all of those three things are in the numerator. Okay. And then all of the denominator pieces. There we go. And let's finish by putting some of these coefficients together. Okay, so this is 2x to the fourth. Now, I do know that 2x to the fourth can simplify a little bit because 2 to the fourth is 16, which reduces with a negative 12, but that's not what I'm focusing on right now, okay? This is your derivative. So we are going to focus on questions that are mixing the rules. So first, I saw the u sub, which led me to the chain rule. When I was setting up the chain rule, I ended up doing the quotient rule for the inside piece. All right, let's do another one. All right. All right, think about your choices. You have quotient, product. You have power, chain. I think I see chain rule, but I believe that this division comes before this. So I'm going to set up the quotient rule. The first thing I see is quotient. Okay. Top is 2x. Derivative top is 2. Bottom is. Notice that when you get to the bottom, okay, so I'm highlighting what appears to be the inside. Notice that you have other pieces that aren't highlighted. That means that this is a quotient. Now, when I get to the derivative of the bottom, that's where it gets a little tricky. Okay, so I need to set it up. All right, so we get y equals u cubed, and u equals x plus 3. So 3u squared and 1. Okay, so the derivative of the bottom is where the chain rule is occurring. 3 blup. Okay, now that's it. Now let's do our quotient rule. Bottom, derivative top, minus top derivative bottom. Okay, I know it's looking kind of crazy, but we can do this. All over the bottom squared. Right, notice that that's a 6th power. Let's see if we can simplify at all. I'm just going to rearrange this. And, right, I'm putting the coefficient in front. And then here, I get 6x all over. Okay, this gets a little fancy here. Do you see anything common from the top and the bottom? I see that this piece here and here and here is the same. And I'm pretty sure that I can reduce, okay? So notice here we have the 2, all right? And so because I have 2 of them here, I can reduce, but be careful. This is like taking out a common factor. and you have 1 left. And what happens is when we reduce this, okay, this goes away and we are left with 4 down here, right? 2 and 6, you reduce. So we get 2x plus 3 minus 6x over x plus 3 to the 4th. Wow. I know, minus 4x plus 3 y prime equals. Wow. All right, let's recap. First, I saw a quotient, so I set up the top and the bottom. When I got to the derivative of the bottom, I used the chain rule. Then I plugged in the pieces to the quotient rule and I simplified. Notice here that I found these pieces that were in common, and so what happened is with these exponents, because they were in all 3 of the pieces, I took 2 away from each of them. Means I was left with 1, none, and 4. And then I simplified. Okay, let's do another one. Y equals. All right, so let's go ahead and do another example. And the purpose here is to mix the power product quotient and chain rule. 3x plus 1. Where you see a product. Okay. But this time I'm going to do x squared plus 2. And you're like, Miss T, I can FOIL that. You can FOIL that. However, I'm going to put a cube up there. Oh, okay, Miss T. Now I don't want to do that. All right, so what are my choices? Product, quotient, power, chain. But what are my pre-choices? Simplify. Now, if you really, really wanted to, you could write this all out and FOIL, 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 and distribute. Or rewrite. Now, I'm looking at that and I see polynomial exponents and things, okay? So I think we're going to get that u sub. Now, I'm going to highlight what appears to be the inside. Notice that when I highlight that, I don't really cover the whole expression. And so this is going to leave me with a product rule. Okay, first, derivative of the first. Second, when you write down the second, that's where the chain rule happens. So it's a product rule. And then within the product rule, you're going to get to the chain. All right, so I'm going to do a little bit of work here. Okay, I'm just going to write it out. U cubed, where u equals x squared plus 2. Notice that my u sub is giving me the power rule. Okay, y prime is 3u squared. U prime is 2x. All right, chain rule, put it together. Okay, which means the second, right, the derivative of the second All right, so let's just take a look at this and see. Okay. Drop the power, subtract 1. Copy. Derivative of the thing I copied. Fantastic. All right, let's do the product rule. Whoop. Whoop. Okay. Y prime equals. First, derivative second. All right, so as I do this, notice I'm just combining these things in front. Product for plus. Second, derivative first. Whew. All right. It's kind of tricky, kind of fancy. See this jam right here? They're the same thing. So, what's common? Two of them are common. All right, I have 2 in the first group and I have 3 in the second group. That means that the GCF is 2 of them. And so I'm going to highlight the things that are left. This is left, this is left, and one of these factors up here is left. Okay, write down the pieces that are left. Plus. To the first. Voila! Look at how awesome that is. And you could continue to do a little simplifying here. I'm going to do it 18x squared plus 6x plus 3x squared plus 6. Okay, so I can combine a little bit. 21x squared plus 6x plus 6. Final, finite answer. And the reason this factored is because when you have chain rule and product rule, you do a lot of copying, and that means that the same groupings are going to show up more than once. All right, so let's do another one. To the fourth. Okay. All right, so my choices are product, quotient, power, chain. U sub, rewrite, simplify. Well, I don't see any rewriting because it looks like it's in power format. I do not want to multiply this out. And so I'm going to look to see if there's any potential U sub. And that means you're looking for the inside. Oh, I see it. But notice how you didn't highlight everything. You've got this piece left over here. That makes it a product rule. Okay? And so we're going to start with the first. When I get to the derivative of the first, that's where you're going to end up with the chain rule. Okay, so y equals u to the fourth, where u equals x plus 4. Okay, y prime is 4u cubed. U prime is 1. Great. Put it together. Derivative of the first is 4 blah 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 times 1. All right, and just a little bit of combining here. All right, because 1 times 4. All right, second. Derivative of the second. And here we go. Let's do our product rule. Y prime equals the first derivative the second plus the second derivative the first. Oh, so fancy. It appears as though I have some things that are common. but only 3 of them are common, right? Because this one has 4, this one has 3. So I can only take out 3 from both of them, which means I'm going to just highlight everything that I have left. Okay, and I'm going to factor out the x plus 4 cubed, and I'm going to write down everything that I have left. Don't forget that plus in there. And yes, I'm going to do a little bit of multiplying. Okay. Okay, final, finite. Final answer. Wow. All right, so we have been focusing on mixing power product quotient and chain rule. So I'm going to do another one. Okay, what do I see? I'm going to start with my pre. Can I simplify or rewrite this? Well, I'm pretty sure that that's a very easy multiplication to do, so I'm gonna do it. Notice I said easy because it's like one step. So I simplified first. And notice that it's in power format, so there's nothing I need to change there. And then, in terms of the pre, you look to see if there's any u sub. Is there an inside function? Yes, there is. And so this means we're going to have y equals u to the negative 2. And u equals... All right, let's do it. Chain rule says outside derivative, subtract 1, times inside derivative. This is the outside, this is the inside. Put them together. Bloop. And when I multiply by more than a single term, you need to include parentheses here. Copy. Right, highlighting really helps keep track of the part you're copying. Okay, now because we have a negative exponent, let's sort of put this back together. And I'm going to take these two outside pieces and I'm going to leave them in the numerator. I'm not distributing right now. You could distribute it, but it's not necessary. Oh, so when I end up with a product on the inside, I can always simplify the product. Yes, yes, you can. All right, let's try this. I think this is 5, 6. Okay, so now let's do 3 parentheses root x plus x, okay, to the 4th power. Okay, so is this right? What am I going to do here? So let's think about our pre's. Can you rewrite, simplify, or use sub? I'm pretty sure I can rewrite this because I don't see power format. So I'm going to rewrite this. Okay. I can't simplify it. And I do think that I have a U sub. Okay. So that means I have y equals 3u to the fourth. And u equals x to the 1/2 plus x. Whew. All right. Chain rule says outside derivative times inside derivative. Whew. Yes. Now, I am going to put it back into radical form and boop, multiply. All right, y prime equals 12. Notice as I'm doing this that I'm putting it back into radical format times with parentheses. And in this case, there's not a lot you can do because this piece here, yeah, there's just, it's not one piece, okay? And part of it's in the denominator and part of it's in the numerator. So it's a little bit tricky to multiply it together. So I would be, it's fine if you leave it like this. Now I will show you what it would look like if you tried to kind of combine some of this. All right, so I'm going to do these first two pieces first. 12 with a 2 root x in the denominator, and then it would have a plus 12. It's not really simpler. It's actually more factored, just like this part that I boxed here. All right, so let's look at what did I have? I did my pre, and then it was just the chain and power rule that I was working with. If you might be thinking this is a product rule, it's not, because the derivative of 3 is 0. So it's not a product, it's just power chain. Okay. I'm almost at my limit for attention span. So this will be our last one. I think we're at 9. Oh, it's a radical. It's a big radical. Oh my. Okay, so you've got radicals, a quotient, all sorts of things. So let's look at my pre. The pre is where you decide what kind of rules you're going to do. Can you simplify this? No, I don't see any factoring or reducing. Okay. Can I rewrite this? Yes, I can do this in power format. Oh, when I turn that into power format, then I see the U sub. And that's when I highlight the inside part. Now that you've looked at the pre, now we're going to look at power chain. And if I can rewrite this, okay, in such a way where I get just the power rule, then that's it. So then we move on and we do our derivative. Okay, y prime equals, drop the power, subtract 1. I'm actually going to leave it like that for just a second because it kind of feels weird to do that, but it's okay. All right, u prime. Oh, now I get the quotient rule after I've started the problem. Okay, bottom, derivative bottom, top, derivative top. Right, bottom, derivative top, minus top, derivative bottom, all over the bottom squared. Okay. Let's do a little bit of simplifying here. So we get x squared plus 1 minus 2x squared minus 6x. Okay. Minus x squared minus 6x plus 1 all over. All right, so u prime equals, all right, chain rule. Put it together. Y prime equals. And notice here how this piece has power format. It's kind of tricky, right? It really is. Let's just do it. Let's see what we can do. All right, 1 over 2 square root. Oh, yeah. Yikes. Look at this. This does not look pretty with a radical inside of that. And so I don't want 3 levels, guys. I don't want 3 levels. It is yucky if you're going to do 3 levels. And so I'm not going to use this format. Okay? It was just yucky. So I'm going to go back and I'm just going to write it like that because I really would prefer 2 levels. All right. 2 levels only. The minus 1/2. Okay. Oh, that's much better. I'm not even sure. Okay. 3 levels, yucky. 2 levels, better. Okay. Times. All right, let's do it. I'm going to take this piece right here, and I'm going to just put my numerators together. Oh, these two things are the same. What do you do with exponents when they're the same? You add them? Yes, you do. So this becomes x squared plus 1. Negative 1/2 and 2 is actually 3/2. Okay, so this one was, these two were taken care of into this. Okay. A negative exponent really just means move it to the denominator. Okay, so that's where this moved. And leave this alone. Wow. Holy macaroni. Let's do one more. Maybe? No. All right, guys, that is it. Hopefully you have a better understanding of how your pre-skills can be used, how your power and chain can be used, and then lastly, how your quotient and product rule are still just ways to arrange this stuff. Okay, good luck. See you later.